throughout the whole event, Obama was a little tougher on the Republicans. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, he went from 1 to 2, whereas on a daily basis, I'm at about a 9, right? So, but hey, it was nice. That's like doubling his intensity, right? And we got a little example of that here. Let's go to clip number 2 and show you what he said in the beginning.
When it came to health insurance reform in particular, I sought out and supported Republican ideas from the start. So did you. Max Baucus, where's Max? I think he can testify to spending a little time listening to Republican ideas. So can Chris Dodd and Tom Harkin. You considered hundreds of Republican amendments and incorporated many of their ideas into the legislation that passed the Senate. So when I start hearing that we should accept Republican ideas, let's be clear, we have. What hasn't happened is the other side accepting our ideas. And I told them, I want to work together when we can, and I meant it. I believe that's the best way to get things done for the American people. But I also made it clear that we'll call them out when they say they want to work with us, and we extend a hand and get a fist in return. Last week, for example, you put up for a vote a bill I supported. Conrad, Greg, Fiscal Commission. We were assured this was going to be bipartisan, only to see 7 Republicans who co-sponsored the idea in the first place suddenly decide to vote against it. Now, I'm open to honest differences of opinion, but what I'm not open to is changing positions solely because it's good short-term politics.
Oh man, Obama's ripping him. Yeah, but there was a good line in there. And overall, hey, like I said, I'm happy that he's getting a little tougher. He said, we have led, we extended a hand and get a fist in return. Actually, that's very similar to what he said about Islamic fundamentalism, if you remember, in the beginning of his administration. I think it was in his inauguration speech, when he said, look, we're extending a hand, but we can't get a fist in return. So when the Republicans catch on to that, they're going to be livid. Okay, so now, having said that, that's exactly right, of course. Now, see, this is very important because Obama right now is caught in this contradiction, and there are so many press reports that talk about what anytime that Obama gets tough, they say, oh, well, he said he was going to be bipartisan and he was going to change the tone of Washington. He's not changing the tone. He's attacking the Republicans. No, 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 don't do it. Please, please, please don't attack the Republicans. Now, on the other hand, if he doesn't attack the Republicans, he's going to catch-22. They say, what happened? I thought you were going to bring us change, and you won't bring the change. Now, because if you don't challenge the Republicans, they just keep blocking every single bill, and you don't get anything done. So he's in a no-win situation. He's in a lose-lose, right? Now, I think he can turn that into a win-win, and I think he's on the road to doing that with his statement today. Look, here's what you say. Here are the things that I've offered, right? And they have a certain amount of time to accept these, right? And if they don't, for example, in healthcare reform, that time is already run out. These are the things that I agreed to on the Republican side, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Obama could name you 20 things that he agreed to on the Republican side. Here are the concessions that we made. Here are the new offers that we have. Now, if you accept those, great, then we have bipartisanship. And I brought a new tone to Washington, and everything's great. Now, if I give you all those concessions, or I make you all these offers, and you still don't take it, then what I have to do is kick your ass. Now, that's the critical part of it, right? Because if you just go to ass kicking, they say, oh, well, you're not changing the tone. And if you just do the concessions, then they say, well, you're not really getting any change, and you're not getting any votes. So he's got to do carrot and stick and turn that lose-lose into a win-win. So he says, all right, look, I offered these. They did not accept them. They gave me 0 votes. So now it's time to kick their ass. In fact, it's time to name names and make them famous. That's what John McCain said in his campaign that he would do with corrupt members of Congress, right, and the ones that wanted the pork barrel project. So he's got to say, look, Chuck Grassley offered this in healthcare reform. I accepted that. And now he still voted against it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a campaign against Chuck Grassley in Iowa, and I'm going to tell the good people of Iowa why Chuck Grassley screwed you, why he denied you health care, why if you have a pre-existing condition, the reason you're not getting insurance is because of Chuck Grassley. If you or a family member is sick and you then have the insurance company deny you coverage through what they call rescission, we couldn't fix that. You know why? Because of Chuck Grassley. If you're paying higher premiums next year because we couldn't get reform, you know why that is? It's because of Chuck Grassley. Okay? And you run those ads and you run those ads and you show the sick people in the hospital. Here's a person who's not getting their health care paid for, who has cancer. Why? Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley's killing her. He's killing her. Because look, if they don't get the insurance, that's not theoretical. It happens all across the country. You all know it. If you don't get insurance coverage, you can't afford the treatment. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens to a lot of people. That is what rescission is. And when they had him in front of Congress, the insurance executive said, hell no. Unless you do the reform and make us legally do it, we're not going to stop rescission. So those people die when they don't get the coverage. And whose fault is it? Say it with me. Chuck Grassley's. Carrots and sticks. Turn your lose-lose into a win-win. Now, he took a small step in that direction today. I applaud that. Let's take a lot more steps in that direction.